Hi lovelies, it's Tiffany and I'm back for a Housewives Discush sesh with you. And we're gonna go over the New York Housewives, the newest episode, Putting the Tiff in Tiffany's. So you know that I'm liking this title. And first I'm gonna say, welcome. I'm Tiffany and I'm here to talk about Housewives with you while I do my makeup, and anything on my face you're gonna see down in the description box below. So check that out if you're wondering what I'm using. And if you are here, thank you so much. I appreciate you watching and viewing this. Just thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. And if you want, you can subscribe or follow me because I put out these videos at least 2 times a week. There's at least 2 episodes that I do. So I'm gonna get right into it and we're gonna do the New York Housewives, season 13, episode 4, and it's called Putting the Tiff in Tiffany's. Let's get into it, guys. Got my notes ready. So, last week's episode, we leave off with Sonia and her drunken hot mess rampage, upset that Ramona was talking about Wells Fargo. Gosh, could not think of it there for a second. Wells Fargo. So, you know, Sonia's upset because Ramona was talking about her family, as she says, and so she's not happy about it. So we pick up this week where we left off last week, which is that Sonia is still in just her drunken mess. That's how I'm gonna put it, her drunken mess. And she's arguing, she's saying like that's her family, and you know, like, don't talk about her family. And Ramona, I have to say, I liked what she said. She said, your family's not the ones paying your bills. She does have a point, because Sonia, I mean, she has not been married since coming on to the show back in 2000, was it 2009 or 2010? I don't know the exact year. I just know it was midway through season 3 because she goes on the Scary Island trip. The notorious Scary Island trip with Bethany and Ramona and Kelly and Luann and Alex McCord. So the whole time Sonia's been on, she's been divorced. So, I mean, that's really not, I mean, it's her daughter's family, but, you know, she's always taken up for them. And so I like that Ramona was like, well, they're not the ones paying your bills, so why, you know, are you getting so worked up, basically? But Sonia, she was just lashing out. And then she basically tells Ramona that Ramona has nobody to rely on. She doesn't even have a Mario. And she just has fake friends. And really, I feel like maybe Sonia is projecting herself onto Ramona, which she does from time to time. They're very close and they have a very interesting dynamic of a friendship, like sisterly, and so they get into it quite often. And in this one, I really feel like at this moment, Sonia is projecting onto Ramona because, I mean, even though Ramona and Mario are not together, they still have what it seems like a pretty good, admirable friendship, relationship, you know. I mean, he was staying at her place during COVID. I'd say that they're pretty friendly, so I wouldn't say that she doesn't have Mario. So I think Sonia was just projecting a little bit like she does. My opinion on that. Let me know if you agree with me. Leave me a comment. Let me know. And then Sonia goes on to say, like, you know, Ramona walks away from it, obviously, because she knows Sonia is just worked up. And Sonia's still going on and on about that she has family. And that, and friends, and a solid financial future. And that Ramona better effing back off. So, you know, she's worked up, to say the least. And then Luann jumps in because obviously Luann knows what it's like to be a drunken hot mess and make a fool of yourself, which she feels Sonia is doing. So she steps in to talk to her and try to calm it down. And she talks to Ramona and is up, you know, just basically saying like, just let Sonia be. You know, she's all worked up. She's going off the deep end. Like, some reason you're triggering her right now. And basically Luann like kind of breaks down momentarily because she just probably has a big flashback to what was going on in her own life not too long ago. And hey, I can imagine that would be hard to watch a friend of yours also spiraling out of control and you want to help, but you can't help somebody unless they want the help, sadly. However, like with Sonia, I just feel like she's just been a hot mess ever since joining the Housewives. That was funny. And ever since she has come on, like she's had some sort of, like I think the first season coming in halfway through, she came off as like having it all together and under control. And then I want to say at that reunion is when it came out about her issues with that movie that went under and she put an investment into. So it's like ever since those days, she has been just a mess all the time. And, you know, last season it seemed like things were getting a little better for her. And now it seems like we're right back to square one, unfortunately. I'm breaking out bad. I don't know why, but I am. Breakouts are no fun. So now we're gonna go into the next morning. Oh wait, let me finish about Sonia. So like since like I said, she's been like a mess since she came onto the show. She lives in the past. I mean, she gets blamed for constantly living in the past, and she does. She lives so much in the past in her former life, and then she's also always getting intoxicated every season. Now, when she's not on Housewives, I don't know, you know, I'm not hanging out with Sonia and going out on the town with her. I only see her on the show, and every time I see her, it seems like she is out of control, drunk, when they are anywhere that is serving alcohol. My notes, not my notes. So that's just what I have to say about Sonia, is that it just seems like, you know, she's been a little bit of a hot mess since coming on the show. And we just hope that things get better for her. So the next morning, we are seeing like all the ladies in the morning, how they're starting off their morning. And Ebony's on the phone with her mother. And her mother made me laugh because she was like, I hope they're treating my baby well. That would be like my mom. Like, I hope that everybody's, you know, being nice to you or something. So I thought that it was funny to hear her mom say that, because I feel like you're never too old for your mom to feel that way. So they talk about the current health state of Ebony's grandmother, and I feel bad for her because it seems like she was extremely close with her grandma, and it's not looking like she's in the best of health. So since she's so close with her grandma, how lucky is her is she to have her mom let her know that she can be the one to decide what health choices to make for her grandmother. No pressure at all. None. And I just feel sorry. Losing a grandparent, it's very hard. I've not lost a parent, but I have lost 2 grandfathers. And one of my grandpas I was extremely close to. And life has not been the same since he's passed on. So my heart does go out to Ebony and to Leah, who right now in the show have their grandmothers in declining health. Now we see Ramona and Sonia in bed together, because who would not be a Real Housewives of New York trip without them always being in the same bed? Always. And they're just like talking about the night before, about how Sonia, snapped out. And she's still very sensitive with the whole Wells Fargo thing, because she's saying that, like, basically, that's her daughter. Her daughter's future depends on, Chase and the Morgan, banking future. And she's talking about, like, she doesn't want her daughter's future to be at stake. Your daughter's a freaking Morgan. She is never going to be in a financial downfall. Like she said, I don't think that one person, well, not one, but I don't think people that, are giving Wells Fargo their mortgage, having them go through Wells Fargo to get their mortgage, I don't really think that's going to affect Sonia's daughter whatsoever, or her financial future. I'm just going to guess. So then, of course, Garth gets brought up. Have I told you guys how over this, Garth person I am? Because I'm pretty over it. So, Garth shows up. Or Garth comes up. Ooh, he doesn't show up. Not yet. And, basically, Ramona's telling Sonia that she can tell that Sonia's upset that she doesn't have somebody in her life, and that, she can see that Sonia's hurting and wanting a significant other and all that. But I really don't care to hear about Garth so much. Just saying. I'll share my thoughts on him here in a moment when we get to the part that he actually gets there. And they finally let him in, should I say. So, Ramona is getting her Audrey Hepburn stuff, or her, breakfast at Tiffany's party set up. She obviously starting in the beginning of the day, or what it seems like an early part of the morning. And, she talked about how Leah, they did the Burning Man event for her, and that she just wanted to kind of have something a little bit more elegant and sophisticated. And I think she picked a great theme, because Audrey Hepburn's one of my favorite actresses. She's incredible. And I love Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's one of my favorite. If I could be Holly Golightly just for a day, I would. I love that movie. Everything about it. So I have to agree that this is going to be, with Ramona, that it's going to definitely be a more elegant, kind of sophisticated, a more new, to me it's so New York. I mean, come on, Breakfast at Tiffany's, that's total New York. Her and Ramona and Luann are sitting there talking about Sonia and everything that had transpired the night before. Well, Leah comes in, and I don't even know what she goes to grab, but she's grabbing something. I did not pay close enough attention, but that's not even the point. So she's in there and she's grabbing something and Ramona just stops talking. And doesn't even acknowledge, like Leah is right there and just basically says like, hey, we're talking. Like, wants some privacy. Because Ramona just does not, I'm sorry to say it, but she just does not have any tact when it comes to dealing with people that maybe are not her favorite. It's just so blatantly obvious that she does not care for Leah and she's just so rude to her. It's not like she's trying to hide it, I don't feel. And then Leah goes like and talks to the party coordinator that's there for getting Ramona's breakfast at Tiffany's get together going. She's like, I don't know how you can work for her. I just don't know how you can do it. And like the coordinator's even laughing because, I mean, I don't know if she feels uncomfortable or if she knows Leah well enough to, you know, like that conversation was maybe a norm. But, you know, I just found it funny that Leah just went and started talking to the coordinator about how she can't believe that you would work for Ramona with how rude and disrespectful Ramona is. And I mean, Ramona, she was being rude to Leah by not acknowledging her presence and how she just talked to her. She was rude. She was a little condescending, like almost as if Leah was a child walking into an adult conversation. But Leah just snapped and like flips out. Oh. And I get that like Ramona and Luann were having an intimate conversation. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disagreeing with that. But the way that Ramona went about talking or not acknowledging not acknowledging Leah, and then just like I said, she kind of talked to her like she was a child. I get why Leah was mad, but goodness, does she pop off? She snaps. And it would have been at least nice, just Ramona, all you needed to really do in that moment was to just like acknowledge her presence there. Like, hey Leah, like, good morning. Me and Luann are having a conversation. You know, like, I don't want to say be right with you, but you know, something to that effect would have been nice. But that's not Ramona. That is not Ramona. So Leah is just furious. She's just going off about how she cannot deal with like Ramona and just the basically like the fake BS that Ramona, you know, brings. So we see the infamous Garth, and he is awaiting to come in the house to do his yoga with the ladies. And for how obsessed these women are with him, he sure was waiting at that door for what seemed like almost 10 minutes. I mean, obviously I don't know for sure, but he was there for a while, just waiting. While everybody was fighting. And I'm not impressed with him. I don't know. Maybe I'm not in the know of like what eligible is for New Yorkers, but I don't know. I wasn't impressed. Sonia, you know, as soon as he enters the house, Sonia and Luann just turn into instant like frenemies, you know. These two women, to good grief. I don't know what it is between these two and the men. So that's all I gotta say about that. Man is around and they become frenemies. And like I said, Garth to me, I mean, he's tall. I'll give him that. He's tall. But to me, I'm like, I guess I'm just not attracted to that kind of man. So maybe that's why I'm not as impressed with him. if you're from New York and you're watching this, you let me know if that's considered like hot stuff out there. I'm curious. The whole time he's out there, which oddly enough, the only ladies that even show up for this, you know, class of his is Ramona and Sonia and Luann. So the whole time, like, Luann is just like flirting with him, like, okay, get a room, guys, get a room. I'm just the viewer and I'm feeling that way. And of course, Sonia takes it as that Luann's just like flaunting it in front of her all the time. Anytime a man's around. So then we see Leah and Ebony and her are getting their glam done for the day. And I think it's sweet that Ebony like has Leah join her. And during this time, Leah decides, I'm not gonna talk for the rest of the day. I'm gonna let you do the talking for me. And I'm not gonna talk tonight until tonight at dinner. Which I already could tell after she said that. It was not gonna go well in some sort of way, shape, or form. So, they walk out to the area where all the other women are ready to go, and Ramona is like offering people jackets to go to this oyster farm, and Leah's not talking, and Ebony's like, yeah, I'm gonna be the voice for her until she wants to talk tonight. And Ramona, you can already tell, is gonna be the one with the problem with it. Okay, so they all get into the van that's taking them to the oyster farm. And Luann and Sonia start getting into it yet again about men. Good grief. So, you know, basically, I don't think the way that Luann was like speaking to Sonia was cool, but I also feel that Sonia is always coming after Luann with like these men. And it's not Luann's fault if you sleep with a man, i.e. Tom. I don't care how many times you sleep with him, but if a man's treating you like a booty call and he's not wanting to like lock that down, you can't be mad at the woman that he is interested in like tying it down with. You know? It's not her fault that this man, you know, decided to not wife you up or want to have a committed relationship with you. But Luann also kind of talks so rude to Sonia and like shames her a lot, you know? And I don't think that that's something a friend should do either. And I think that Sonia is out of line a lot with coming after Luann, especially when it comes to like Tom, and I'm just over Tom. I'm over Tom. Over it. Oops. Wait. Oh, sweet dear Lord, baby Jesus. Here we go back to Tom. Like, that's what I wrote down. Because that's how I feel. I'm over Tom. I'm over the Tom situation. Like, for one, he wasn't attractive to me either. So I don't even know what these women are fighting over. And he seems like he was just hungry for the cameras. Because like I said, I've been watching the old episodes of New York lately. I'm on season 2. Where Kelly and Bethany just got into it. I'm up here and you're down here. Just got done with that episode. So, I saw Tom in the first season because like Ramona's out with her friends at a bar or whatever. and he happened to be there, and that's the first time we ever see Tom on TV. So I feel like he just probably followed around like the cameras. I think Tom wanted to be part of the show. So all I gotta say about that is, like, let's not go back to Tom, okay? Calling Tom my guy, Sonia, like, let his bitch ass go. You're being a fool. You are being a fool. Nobody else is making you look like a fool but you, okay? Because he's not worth it. Tom ain't worth it. Just saying. And neither is Harry Dubin. There's got to be more men in New York, like single men, I swear. If not, can some of you guys move there so these women can have more than like 3 of them to argue about each freaking season? It'd be nice. So I think that Ebony is like a good voice of reason, because she pops in and she's telling Luann, like, you know, the way you're basically shaming Sonia and, you know, making it seem like she's just a hit it and quit it kind of girl, like, which Sonia's kind of putting it out there for herself. I mean, ooh, double-edged sword. I don't know if I even want to touch this one, because in a way, Sonia's putting her own business out there, basically saying, like, these are guys I slept with and, like, was friends with benefits with, whatever. But then also getting upset when somebody's saying that they were just using you for sex. Maybe the way that Luann was saying it wasn't the nicest. But essentially that's the truth. Is like, these men were using you. Like, stop harping on them. And stop getting upset because they were interested in Luann. Like, they're the one that chose it. I'm not saying that she didn't, because she could say no easily, but Sonia and Luann seem one and the same. It's like, you gotta have a man. Gotta have a man. It's more fun with the man. So, it's just my opinion. But I like that, you know, Ebony steps up and is like, you're painting Sonia in a bad light. It's not nice. Like, Sonia's already over emotional about these men anyways. So it's like, we're just adding fuel to the fire. That way. Ramona, she was talking about misplaced anger with, you know, the whole between Sonia and Luann situation. And I had to chuckle because I'm thinking, you would know all about some misplaced anger, Ramona. She could write the book on it. So with Ebony trying to make like peacemaker and that, I feel that she's walking into a very complicated dynamic of Ramona, Sonia, and Luann. And I know that she means well, but whew, that's an interesting combination. I don't know if I want to take that on. I don't think I'd be brave enough as the new girl to take that on. But kudos to her for trying. We appreciate the effort that you're putting in there, Ebony. Ramona sets up for everybody to go to an oyster farm so they can get fresh oysters for their breakfast at Tiffany's soiree dinner party that night. And I think it's pretty, I mean, who knew that I never even knew that there was an oyster farms. I never knew that was a thing. So many things are becoming a thing that I would never think would be a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, wow, there's really a target audience for that. Okay. Like, who knew? So, which I'm sure that up there in the Hamptons doing stuff like that is probably something fun for people to do. So pretty neat that they get to go to an oyster farm and pick out their own oysters. Of course, Ramona, though, we would think that Miss freaking oyster lover that she is, I mean, we've seen her do plenty of oysters in these housewives days that we've had. But she doesn't even know what one looks like unshucked. Now, I don't even eat oysters. And I know what an oyster looks like that's unshucked. I'm just saying, I would have thought that she would have been like the expert on all things oysters, but you learn something new every day, don't you? And she doesn't think that they're pretty at all. Now, at the oyster farm, they have you pick out your oysters from the ocean, the water, whatever. And then you can go and you like shuck them yourself. And seeing the ladies do that was pure entertainment. Some of them you can see it was like easy for them and they didn't struggle, and other ones were struggling. Ramona. I always open up my mouth when I go to do my mascara. I don't know why. It doesn't help. I don't know why I do it. I know I'm not the only one though. I think I'm the only one that's questioning why I do it. After 3 whole hours of silence, as they're sitting down, Leah, well, sitting down at the oyster place or whatever. I think they were having a drink, or was it a picnic? One of the, both. So they all sit down and Leah decides to finally speak. And what does she open her mouth to speak about? None other than Heather Thompson. Like, girl, she is not letting it go. Dog with a bone, this one. But I'm gonna get into all that because we're getting close to that part. But, you know, so she opens her mouth to talk about Heather, and basically, like, I've only met her one time in the Berkshires. I don't really know what to make of it or think of it. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna handle this, blah, blah, blah. And then what does Ramona do? Oh, she drops the bomb. Heather's staying the night. Leave it to Ramona, Mrs. I don't like surprises. Always throwing out surprises. So she drops the ball, and basically they all agree that Heather is going to be like downstairs in the lower level of Ramona's house. They then show the house all decorated up. The party is about to be in full swing. Ladies are getting all glammed, and most of them are getting in their breakfast at Tiffany's attire. Getting ready for a nice, fun night. Heather arrives, and she first comes face to face with Sonia. Now, Miss Heather has gone on her new podcast, and she has talked about all these ladies. All of them. And even like the ones that she was like friendly with while she was on the show, which would be Sonia, Luann. I feel like her and Ramona never really hit it off, so I'm not gonna, which is weird because, you know, she's gotten invited there from Ramona, supposedly. I'm still gonna guess that it was probably Bravo that wanted to bring her in just to see what like if she would fit back in and add another wife to it, or whatever the case was. I feel like it was just a little experiment from Bravo to have her on. So anyhow, Heather arrives and she runs into Sonia, and this is where I just feel like Heather's a little fake and phony, because she's all like, oh, hey, so, you know, I basically like, hey, I need to still do my hair and do an updo for this party, and you're the best one at updos. You're the queen of updos. I was hoping that you'd help me with my hair. And Sonia is not feeling warm and fuzzy about that. Like, I have a feeling, I don't think that she did not do her hair. Unless they just didn't show it, which I feel like they would, but Sonia was like, no, she was out of there. Like, you just can't sit here and bash people, especially to gain an audience. Like, you're sitting here on a podcast bashing the people that you did a reality TV show with, talking about all the stuff that happened behind the scenes on like trips. But then you still have the audacity to come back. I don't think I'd have big enough balls for that. You know? I would expect for people to give me cold shoulder. I would expect them to not want to embrace me. I mean, I have enough common sense and self-awareness to know that no, I'm not gonna come back to a show where I literally bashed people. You know? But who am I? What do I know? So all the ladies are serving up their best looks. You know, they're getting fabulous. Everyone except for, well, I mean, she still is fabulous, but she's not following what the rules were, which is Leah. Of course, she has to be rebellious. And can I just say, I think it's pretty messed up that she rebelled against dressing up for the theme, because everybody did the Burning Man theme for her. And they look at Ramona. She came and she showed out for that. She really embraced that Burning Man theme, even though she wasn't into it that much. You know that ain't her jam. You know that's not Ramona's thing. So I was a little disappointed to see that Leah couldn't at least just, participate after they all did it for her. But again, who am I? What do I know? I mean, I'm not even a housewife. I'm just a regular person. I don't know any of that. Leah's outfit was still cute. Don't get me wrong. It was still cute. But I just feel like she should have participated better with all that. Heather is there. And there's just something like pretentious about her. I even felt that back in season 5 when they first added, was it 5 or was it 6? I think it was 5 when they first added her and Carol and Aviva to the show. And I just wanted to like Heather, but I could not. There was something very unlikable. And I think that her relationship is great, like with her husband and with her kids and everything. I think that she's a good mom. I think, her and her husband have a great dynamic, it seems, and all that. But other than that, to me, she's always come off as pretentious or fake or just doing too much. Just not really a big fan of Heather. So I really wasn't expecting her to come on this season in any sort of capacity. But here we are. So while she's there, Luann brings up which I think this is her way of just segging into it. But she asks Leah right in front of Heather, oh, do you still have your podcast? Are you still doing that? And they start talking about it with Heather right there in the room. So I feel like Luann did that on purpose because she wanted to feel her out. And Heather has all this confidence. She just is yeah, I have a podcast. Yeah. You would really, I don't know. Again, that's a lot of confidence. That's a lot of cojones, a lot of balls. I wouldn't be able to openly just talk about that knowing that I just bashed them on said podcast. Just not my style. So Leah then brings up Heather's podcast while they're all at the table. So she literally asks her, oh, what do you talk about on your podcast and stuff? And then she was basically brought up what she was saying about all of the wives. She does not care about me. She will tell it like it is. She's gonna say it like it is. You should watch Janie French on YouTube or Facebook, whatever one you want to do. But anyways, she does this one about people named Trish. And that's what she does. She's like, I will tell it like it is. I will tell it like it is. So that's why I'm saying that for Leah right now. She's gonna tell it like it is. So Leah starts literally quoting for herself what Heather had said in her podcast. Like literally just starts verbatim saying like, so this is what you said about like Luann and stuff. And I don't even feel that Heather took any response. I mean, she basically said, that's just what they wrote on the headlines. Like, that's how they get people to open them up, blah, blah, blah. But yet, you're literally quoted for saying that about Luann. And she also tries to say that it was like Carol Radziwill when she was on the podcast, and that's why they were talking about it, was because Carol was on, which of course Carol does not like Luann, as we all know. They are not friendly, especially after Carol was dating Luann's personal chef and her niece's, he was also her niece's ex-boyfriend for a while, Adam. So of course I feel that Luann took that answer from Heather and just ran with it, whereas for me, I'd be like, no girl, you were talking with Heather or with Carol about me. Like, don't try to just put it on her. But that's me. That's how I would handle it. Guess don't ask for my advice, huh? Sorry, my nose itches. Allergies. Allergies. Ugh, hate them. And then Leah goes on though. She's like, but wait a minute. You said that Luann basically isn't trustworthy and like, you know, that you guys like aren't good, something like that Luann isn't trustworthy or loyal, or that they don't really have a friendship, something to that effect. And I mean, I guess Heather owns it and she's like, yeah, I did say that. That was me that said that. But I don't know. I don't know if I can fully take that as her owning it. Okay. And Luann, I'm sorry. Heather's she ain't a real friend. She's a fake friend. Don't fall for it, girl. A real friend would not talk about you like a dog like that. And what happened on a private trip. And then come back on the same reality show where she talked about all the people. I just don't know who could have the gall. I mean, obviously Heather Thompson, but I couldn't talk about people and then go on like, you know, an overnight trip with them. Seems pretty crazy. And now they're talking about what they're gonna do the next day. So, oh, by the way, this is my look. What do you think? Not even. It'll do. Anyways, so they talk about what they're gonna do like the next day. And I guess that they're gonna be painting male or a naked model. And who set it up? None other than Luann's daughter Victoria and Luann's niece Nicole, who are both artists, which if you've seen the other seasons of New York, you probably have saw the episode with Victoria, and she actually has her own nude photo in a gallery. I remember seeing that episode and thinking like, she's like 11, what are we doing? And then of course I realized that she's a whole adult. But I really felt like she was so young to be doing that. Like, what is she doing? Sorry, I gotta fix my mascara a little bit. I'm gonna do it on my phone too. Look at me in the camera. So they're gonna paint male models the next day, which we all saw the little clippy clip of that. If you watched, you know, the what to expect this season or whatever. And then I gotta admit, like Leah talking about and I'm not a prude, by the way, not a prude, but Leah always talking about like just over the top sexual things. Like, girl, not everybody wants their butt licked. Me? No, I don't want my butt licked. And, you know, I'm 32. So don't go around here talking about that girls want their ass eaten. No, not all of us. So I just gotta say, like, that could have just been kept to herself. If you want a tongue on your booty, girl, you go for it. Go get all the tongue on your booty that you want. Hell, take it all, because some of us don't even want it. But keep that shit to yourself. I could hear about other things, you know, but I don't need to hear about you getting your asshole licked, okay? Just saying. And that's where we're actually ending. That's actually the end of the episode, was her just talking, you know, at the table. And of course, Ramona got up. And I'm sorry, I don't know what to do with my hair right now. It is like not parting right. Do you see this? I don't know what it's doing. Yeah. So, Ramona got up from the table and was like talking to one of the caterers and was like, I can't listen to this. I understand. Because I don't think I could listen to it either. No. Especially like the dinner table. Like, girl, can you talk about something else? Anything else? Just saying. That's my soapbox. So I guess the next episode should conclude the Hamptons trip. And we're going to see them paint and see more of the Heather situation, which I'm interested in. Pretty drama. If you've stayed this whole time watching me, thank you. I got my look complete for the day. It's Memorial Day. Maybe I should have did red, white, and blue. That would have been fun. I didn't even think of that. I mean, I don't know how that really would have turned out, but you know. So anyways, if you've stayed this whole time, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'm going to see you next time because it's Monday, which means that in a few days here, we're going to have 2 more episodes for me to go over with you. So have a great holiday. Be safe. Make good choices. You know, don't do anything you're going to regret tomorrow. And I'll see you next time. Bye.